Welcome to Take This TV, the television book club podcast, where each week we watch an episode of our favorite shows.
An episode or two.
Oh, yeah. An episode or two of our favorite shows and talk about it with our friends in the fandom. That's you. Hello. I'm Carmen and I'm joined by the one and only America's best friend, Erin Fusco. Hello.
Hello, it's me, Erin. Hi. This season, we are watching a show that I recommended called Wynonna Earp. So we're watching 2 episodes, every podcast episode, and we're talking about it. This is one of the shows that speaks to me on a deeply emotional level, really gets into my brain, but is a lot hornier than I remember. And that's sort of the takeaway at the top of the hour that we're going to get into, I'm sure.
Oh, you know the first thing we're going to get into. But before we do, let's do an episode recap. So today we're talking about episode 5 and 6 of season 1 of Wynonna Earp. What happened in episode 5 and 6, Erin?
If you haven't watched yet, pause our episode right here, watch those 2 episodes, and then come back to us, press play.
Hello, welcome back.
Hello, welcome
We're glad you...
Okay, so we are talking about 5 and 6. So these are again, I can't take credit for writing these. These are the Netflix summaries on Netflix. Episode 5, Wynonna has a disturbing nightmare about Willa. Dolls leads a raid after seeing the Revenants transport a conspicuous crate into the trailer park. And then episode 6, Doll's secret comes out when he joins Wynonna to find the mysterious blacksmith and encounters a secluded family with a voracious appetite. I would argue that Doll's secret doesn't come out. I would say the existence of Dolls having a secret comes out. But I would say it's not very clear what the secret is.
I have some theories about the secret that I'll get to towards the end of the episode. It's always funny, these episode synopses, because I wonder if they wrote them before they shot the episode. Because sometimes it's like, I mean, I guess that's what it's about. Like Wynonna having a nightmare about Willa, it's like, I think the cold open is that, and then it's kind of over. But, so it's not the whole episode. It's just weird that of the things that they decide to. And I mean, the raid on the trailer park is like, I mean, that does happen.
Yeah,
but like,
I
that's
think
not
that
what the
these are
about.
Netflix. I don't think whoever at Netflix writes. Let me see, on Google, I just Googled it. Episode 5 is, a revenant named Ambrose Fish offers to help Wynonna track down the 7 demons behind her older sister's death. For his part, Fish just wants to find his reanimated boyfriend. And like, that's more, I guess. And then... yeah. Episode 6, Constant Cravings, is following her late Uncle Curtis's instructions, Waverly visits a mysterious woman known as the blacksmith for a binding set. That's part of it. These are both bad. Anyway, we can get into what actually happens in these episodes.
Also, if you are listening to this and you're one of those people who writes episode descriptions, this is no shade to you. We love you. You're amazing. Keep up the good work. So, with that out of the way, I didn't want them to feel like we were throwing shade. It's not you.
I don't think it's anyone's fault. I think it's that probably people who write episode descriptions watch them at 3 times speed and just like I think that they are not given the proper tools or time to do their job. That's what I think.
Yeah. Anyway, so episode 5, the only thing that I remember before you read the second synopsis about the episode, the 5th episode,
you watched
is
this
that Wynonna,
2 days ago. Yeah, continue.
I know, but I was so distracted by our thirst tracker.
That's true.
Which if you are joining us for the first time on this episode and you're like, what the flip is he talking about? Let me tell you, we created a thirst tracker. Mm-hmm. So, like Erin said, this show is super horny. And
I don't remember that.
Here for it. Still here for it. Put more romance in shows and games and stories because romance is a part of real life. And so it should be in our fantasies also. Anyway, all that to say, last time we created a list of the potential couples on the thirst tracker and we rated them. To recap, we have Waverly and Hot is how we listed it. This is Officer Hot.
You kept calling her Officer Hot, so I put her name as Officer. Well,
that's her name. I mean, her name's not Officer Hot, but like...
Her name is Nicole Hot, but yeah, Officer Hot. Continue.
Okay, Officer Nicole Hot.
Yes. Her full legal name.
Officer Nicole, insert middle name Hot.
Yeah.
Officer Nicole, definitely not a secret revenant or plot device Hot.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, 5 out of 5 on the thirst tracker. I almost called it the thirst trap. Should we call it thirst trap? I feel like there's
it's not a thirst trap. We're tracking your thirst. We're not trapping it.
That's true.
No one here is trying to trap your thirst. We're just trying to track how your thirst is coming along.
We're just trying to see where it's at.
Yeah.
We don't need to track.
Let's just get right into it. Top of the hour here. Waverly and Officer Hot. Last week, 5 out of 5. Today, what are your thoughts?
Look, we didn't see them interact in this episode, and you would think, is this like a thermometer where it's like the ship isn't around, so the thirst tracker goes down?
Yeah.
And I'd say objection, my friend. You are wrong.
Yeah.
The thirst is so strong.
Yeah, I agree.
For the ship that it stay. You know what? Okay, fine. I'll be fair. 4 out of 5. We dropped to a 4 out of 5. Just because it's not in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, but you still want it.
Yeah.
Every time Champ is on screen with Waverly, you're just constantly thinking, this could be Officer Hot.
Every time Champ is on the screen with Waverly, the Officer Hot ship goes up higher.
Fair enough.
So the next one we have on the thirst tracker is Wynonna and Dolls, which, like, here's the thing. I'm conflicted about this because, like I said, I love me a chocolate vanilla swirl. Get it. But at the same time, Erin's face and how red she is right now is one of the best things I've ever seen.
I was trying so hard not to laugh while you were doing it. He was dancing. He wasn't looking at me head down, full on dancing.
Just like,
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, the chocolate vanilla swirl, love it. However, I am starting to question, is Dolls toxic? I mean, there's a lot of toxic masculinity energy there. And I'm thinking to myself, this is like a police officer, military person, which, like, we won't even get into that. But I'm like, there's a lot of toxic masculinity baked into that kind of culture.
Yeah.
As it's been portrayed in the media, not necessarily all the time in real life. But all that to say is, like, Dolls is kind of, he could be better to Wynonna. There's a lot of room for improvement. And so, honestly, just because of Dolls, like, the two of them together, he caresses her face so much. And I'm like, dude. At one point, she, like, goes to comfort him when he's sick. And he's like, oh, boundaries, Wynonna. And I'm like, can we talk about you caressing her face, like, every day? Mr. Boss Man? But anyway. I think we're at a 3 out of 5.
Oh.
They got a lot of work to do. Yeah.
Now, here's counterpoint. They were sparring.
Oh, they were sparring.
Counterpoint.
That was really...
Well, additional counterpoint. Dolls had his shirt off and he was doing push-ups in the office.
Dolls is a thirst trap. He is a thirst trap. He is a very attractive man, but that doesn't make up for his borderline abusive tendencies.
Yeah.
And I will say, the next one on the list is Wynonna and Doc. And so first of all, I knew that, like, Erin was mentioning that, she's seen this before, and she's watching him at a faster speed.
How dare you? I told you that in confidence. I literally told you. I said,
you out.
We're not going to say that while recording.
I'm sorry. You did say that. I betrayed your trust. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a 0 out of 5 on the thirst tracker right now. I didn't mean to say that out loud. The point I was trying to make is I bet that you didn't speed up this part when Wynonna and Doc finally hooked up. And she, like... Wynonna's like, we can't do this. And Doc is like, say that after?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm dead. I am dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead. This man, 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 for Wynonna and Doc.
You were so iffy. You were a 3 out of 5 last week. And you made me put a question mark there because you were like, I don't know if the show is really going to go down this way with Wynonna and Doc. I'm not sure. I'm deleting the question mark and I'm moving it to 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Honestly, they swapped. Wynonna and Dolls and Wynonna and Doc swapped over these last 2 episodes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wynonna Earp. This is a plot point in this show.
The love triangle. I mean, here's the thing. The love triangle is a tired trope. And honestly, it can get out of here and straight in the bin. And once it's got some garbage juice on it, I'm going to pick it up and put it on my nachos and eat it because it's delicious. I love it. I love this love triangle.
Here's my 2 thoughts on love triangles. All love triangles would be better if they all just dated each other. I think that feels
got him.
The entire triangle. I feel like solves most problems. The only love triangle that I actually like is a love square from Miraculous Ladybug, a children's cartoon. Because they're in love with each other, but they don't know each other's secret superhero identities. And that's just shenanigans.
I have no idea what this show is, but that sounds... I love that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a French children's cartoon.
Okay.
About 2 superheroes. The civilian identity of the girl is in love with the civilian identity of the boy, and the superhero identity of the boy is in love with the superhero identity of the girl, and they don't know that they are each other's crushes.
Wait, so there's 2 people and not 4 people?
There are 2 people, but there's a square.
How's it a square if there's 2 of them?
Because, listen, this is bonus content here. Marinette is in love with Adrian. Adrian's alter ego is Chat Noir. Chat Noir is in love with Ladybug. And Ladybug and Marinette are the same, and Chat Noir and Adrian are the same.
Oh my gosh. This is some Catwoman, Batman, Sailor Moon tuxedo mask kind of stuff.
Chat Noir's constantly like, I love you, Ladybug. And she's like, I'm in love with someone else. But the someone else she's in love with is Adrian. And he doesn't know that. It's great. Incredible. Anyway, all I'm saying is all love triangles should either be a polyamorous triangle or a square. Because those are the only 2 shapes that are acceptable.
I mean, I can't argue with that logic. Yeah. That makes perfect sense to me, honestly. I'm convinced.
Yeah. Tell me Twilight wouldn't have been better if Bella, Edward, and Jacob all dated each other.
Okay, so, like, we're on another planet.
To be fair, Hunger Games would not have been better if Gale dated Peeta and Katniss, because Peeta and Katniss were superior. I don't like Gale at all, so continue.
Is Gale the guy she grew up with at the home?
Gale was like her friend growing up, but they were all from the same town. And then Peeta was...
that's what I meant. The guy she goes hunting with in the movie. That actor, whoever the actor was, he was great. It's not about him. It's about that character. Yeah. That character is the most ordinary man of all time.
Except Peeta
Bland is man number 3.
Anyway, moving on from triangles, I just think they should all date each other. Continue.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts on socials. I was going to say in the comments, but then, I guess you can comment on it.
Anyway, leave it in the comments. We don't want to hear it. Find a comment section somewhere. Leave it there.
Unrelated to this, find a random comment section.
Yeah. All right. We got to get through this so we could actually talk about the episodes, although we're getting there along the way. Waverly and Doc. Right. You put 0 out of 5.
The more we do these, the more unhinged we're going to get.
They are just unhinged already. Yeah. Waverly and Doc, you had them at a 0 out of 5.
Yeah, not negative 5 out of 5. Don't mess up the scale. It can stay 0. But no. I'm just saying that, there's not going to happen. I was wrong.
You thought maybe it would, but now you're like, no. And then we got Wyatt and Doc. Wyatt wasn't in this episode. I don't think he's going to be... Wyatt Earp.
Oh, Wyatt Earp. Right.
Yeah.
The Earp, the original
so
Earp.
So I honestly think Wyatt and Doc gets taken off. Anyone you want to add into the...
You deleted Wyatt and Doc?
I mean, they weren't in these episodes.
Okay, that's true. They're still on the thirst tracker, though, because technically Waverly and Doc didn't have a scene in these episodes.
Yeah, but these characters were still in there. I guess Doc was still in here. Yeah, what are your thoughts on should Wyatt and Doc kiss?
They should.
They should. Okay, so what are you...
Period. The
end. So kiss out of 5. Okay, got it.
Yes, kiss out of 5 for Wyatt and Doc.
Great.
Adding to the ships...
Ooh, interesting. Okay, yes.
I feel like there was somebody who I was like, oh, we should add this to the ship, the thirst tracker. But I can't remember who it was, and that makes me feel like it wasn't important enough to add it. So
Bobo. Constance Clooney.
Constance, and just because it is a ship in the show, Constance and Bobo. For me personally, it's not doing it for me. 1 out of 5. But for somebody out there, if that's your jam, good for you, man. Good for you, person. Yeah, good for you, person. But that's not for me.
Bad for you.
Not my back.
Bad for you, person. I didn't like watching it.
Wow. Okay, first of all, mild tangent from the thirst tracker for a second. Constance has 4 names. She's the Stone Witch. Mm-hmm. She's Constance. Mm-hmm. She's some other name that starts with a C.
CC Stone.
Yeah, CC Stone. And then I think, what's his bucket? Doc refers to her as something else for a while. And I'm just like, why does this person have so many names? And if you all know this person, why do you all refer to her as different things? Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. And also it's like they set up this character as this potential other faction to Bobo's tribe. Mm-hmm. But then we see her and Bobo together, and it's like, are they lovers? Are they allies? What the heck? Mm-hmm. And if they're together, why is she like doing this Revenant stuff where they're going rogue? Or is she like doing that behind his back, but he knows about? I don't know. That's just part of the plot that I'm just not really vibing with. She's a weird character. I'm not really here for it. Apparently there's like maybe something with her and Doc. That's a 0 out of 10 for me. Like, I'm just not feeling it.
So, if you recall from the previous episodes, Doc was looking for the Stone Witch, and they were specifically not saying her name because she was the one he made a deal with. He was looking for her because of his immortality nonsense.
Oh, so he got his immortality from her?
He's been looking for the Stone Witch for his own reasons, yes. So,
gotcha.
There's reasons that they, like, call people different names. Like, Doc didn't know what name she was going by now. Like, they kept calling her the Stone Witch. Like, she's as old as they are, so in human world, she has to have her own name, too. Right, like...
Yeah.
So that's why her name is CC Stone and she's a lawyer. Yeah, like...
Yeah,
because you gotta have a human...
That, like,
yeah, it is a lot of names.
It's a lot of names, and it's confusing because they refer to the character by all those different names before we meet the character.
Correct, yeah.
And then we meet the character, and I'm like,
which one?
Wait, who is she again? And like, what's her whole deal?
Yeah.
1 out of 5. Get out of here.
Okay.
So let's jump into the episode.
Sure, yeah.
So, episode 5, Wynonna has a nightmare about Willa.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and my first thought, I hate it. In my blood, it boils it. I hate dream sequences. I hate flashbacks. I know people are like, Carmen, that's just TV. That's just storytelling. I get it. I understand. It's a good tool, and it gets the job done sometimes. I don't like it because we're not progressing anywhere. It, like, you know, everybody has stuff in their past, but like, if I make a friend now, I'm not going to recount the last X number of years of my life for them, you know, like we can still, people can exist without us knowing their backstory. We can still form meaningful relationships without the backstory. I hate flashbacks. That's the point. And anyways,
I feel like I disagree with you on that like...
Oh yeah, no, why? Talk to me.
Because things that happened in your past affect you now, especially when a character is like keeping a secret from someone and then they're like, actually, now I'm ready to tell you about this thing. We don't want to watch them tell them. So the flashback exists so that we, the audience, see how it happens instead of, hey, Carmen, I need to tell you about this thing that happened to me. So when I was 10, that's not interesting. Nobody wants to hear me tell a story. But if we heard some, like, wind chimes, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, a precocious little 10-year-old actress is like, I'm Erin, and here's the story that I'm living out now. Much more interesting to watch.
You know, you are 100,000% right. And I don't disagree with anything you just said. To me, it takes me out of it because I'm just like, I'm not, and maybe this is just for the weird way I look at it. It's like, I always want to be progressing forward. And for me, it's like, I'm not making any forward progress.
But you can't move forward without knowing where you came from.
Without moving back?
Yeah. And in this instance, in this dream sequence, I think they did it well enough to be like, this is something that's haunting Wynonna, without explicitly being like, the idea of Willa is haunting me.
Yeah, for sure.
And it
for sure
introduces the idea that, like, maybe Wynonna doesn't know everything that happened to Willa. Maybe something weird is happening with the curse that, like, Willa was supposed to be the chosen one, but, like, Wynonna's the one wearing her dress. Like, there's a lot of, like, storytelling that they're able to do in the, can't stress this enough, 5-minute total dream sequence. 3, maybe 2 minutes total dream sequence.
True, it is. I'm tripping. It's not that bad.
You can hate it, Carmen. I just disagree with you.
So anyway, that happens.
Yes.
And then we go through the episode or whatever. I still believe Will is alive. somewhere, and she's gonna come back later as the sixth Power Ranger or whatever.
Okay.
And then Dolls and them go to raid Bobo's trailer park.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about Bobo that I don't get is like he wants to be able to roam and like so the Revenant can leave Purgatory. However, on multiple occasions, Dolls has said that there are other places where the Revenant have shown up.
Where demons have shown up.
Where demons showed up. So they're not the same thing.
Not specifically the cursed revenants. These ones are specific. These, like, revenants are specifically tied to the Earp curse and the fact that they were the 77 people that Wyatt killed. But that's why Dolls in the first couple episodes calls them demons or calls them whatever. He calls them different things, and Wynonna keeps being like, no, these are revenants. Like, this is what my dad
So the others are just like monsters out in the world. Like there's monsters.
Yeah, the idea is that there are monsters out in the world, and like a person who goes to hell and comes back is this same kind of creature. Like this same kind of demon creature, but like the ones specifically tied to this curse are the ones that are stuck here. Yeah.
I didn't know that. So that makes sense now.
I mean, I might be wrong. That's just how I understand it.
That works for me. I don't know. Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you actually know that's not true. But I was also confused because I think at one point they say Bobo was Waverly's imaginary friend.
Correct.
And so I was like, oh, so the other people are like revenant demon things or whatever, but Bobo is different because he's an imaginary friend. But now it's like Bobo's a revenant, but that means that he was a person.
Yes.
And he died and came back as a revenant.
Yes.
But how is he an imaginary friend if he... And so maybe it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, she was a kid.
Yes.
And she didn't know that he was like a bad demon.
Yes.
And they were like, oh, it was just your imaginary friend.
Yes.
But
yeah,
and I mean,
she was around on the farm, and Bobo was just over the property line being like, hey, kid, want to play a game?
Okay. Because we haven't seen that yet.
What we already saw was he convinced her to dig up and plant the charm that...
Well, but we didn't see it. She told us that.
No, we saw it.
No, she told us.
There was a flashback where we saw...
Oh, yo, you're right. True
we
that,
saw the child do it, and Bobo is like on the other side of the fence. And so,
that's right.
From the information we have now, you can assume that, like, she was hanging out with a dude, and when she told her parents, they were like, that's weird. We've never seen a dude on our property, so it's an imaginary... You know, like, the way that, like...
Gotcha.
Waverly was a baby. She was like a child. And she's like,
and they were
hey,
like,
I'm
you're a
hanging out
child. You
Bobo.
aren't valid. Yeah.
And they're like, sounds wild. Okay. I don't know, kid. You're a baby. Sounds good. And so everyone just assumed that he was imaginary because they had never seen him. But
so they gaslit Waverly into thinking that he was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Waverly wouldn't know that. Everyone else was like, he's not real. So she's like, okay.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean... It would have been cool if he was like an imaginary friend because it's like, oh, there's different kinds of monsters, but it's not that kind of show. But anyway, so, okay, that makes more sense now. So, yeah, they raid the place and then, I don't know, Wynonna like freaks out and beats some people up and so they arrest some people.
Wynonna does not have chill.
And so she has Bobo in the cell and she pulls her gun on him. And I, in my like most accurate, like my Sith Lord, I put a cloak on, Dark Kermit style, as the Emperor, and I was like, "Do it, kill him, do it now." But she didn't, because she's the hero of this story, and that wouldn't be very heroic.
He grabs the gun from her.
Oh yeah, he does.
And
grab
he
the gun
holds
from
it
her.
with his force powers, and he holds it, and it's burning his hand, and he's basically like, do it, you can, I'm stronger than you.
So, how does Bobo have force powers? I guess each of the Revenant, the more they come back, they get some kind of special powers or whatever. And it's just like,
how does the other guy travel through mirrors? Like, they got Monster of the Week powers because this is a Monster of the Week show.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, the Stone Witch comes and sets him out or sets him free or whatever. And I was like, okay. I mean, that episode was kind of like, whatever. Some other stuff happened. I don't remember what happened, but...
Well, I mean, what I liked about episode 5 was the Revenant who, like, sneaks up on Wynonna in her truck and is like, I want to make a deal with you. And then it turns out Doc knows him, and his name was Fish.
Oh, that was this episode. I thought that was in the next episode, and then the other stuff happened in the next episode also.
No.
So that was this episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did like that. I liked that arc. So Fish, I thought, was an interesting character. I love when they have characters that show that the evil villains or whatever are not a monolith. I love that.
I made a note. I said, I thought you might like this.
I was really happy about that. I will say that I wish there was more. Well, as I'm saying it, thinking it, I'm conflicted. Let me put the thoughts out loud so you can know what I'm talking about. But like, I was initially thinking, I wish there was more closure with Fish and Doc's relationship when he finds out that Doc was the one who essentially tortured his lover. But I mean, there's that part where Fish is like, we'll be back, and grudges are for kids or something like that. And I was like, that's actually really deep. And, it shows that, like, Doc is in a really dark place. So I thought that was actually really satisfying, reflecting back on it. At the time, I was like, oh, man, I feel like he should have ripped Doc a new one. But I kind of feel like it was better that way.
Yeah,
to be
he
like,
says
no,
something
man,
about, vengeance isn't worth it for me.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that's more powerful than, like, him getting mad at Doc or, like, ripping Doc a new one.
Well, this is, again, like, we kind of got a hint of it last episode where it turns out that the barber who died, who was killing people now because he's been to hell and back and he's sort of like a perverted version of who he was as a human. But we learned that, like, he died because Wyatt forced him to testify, not because Wyatt, like, he was not a bad guy. He died by Wyatt's hand, essentially, but really by Doc's hand. And that counts as part of the curse. And then you start to wonder, like, Fish doesn't seem like a bad guy. Ambrose doesn't seem like a bad guy. He just got sort of caught up in the wrong things. And he's like, listen, vengeance isn't worth it for me. I just want to be with the man I love. And I've made peace, and I want you to break the curse. I don't want to keep doing this. And you start to feel kind of bad about it, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I love that. And I love that we get that moment from Wynonna when she says that she wants to give people the chance to make peace. Yeah. And I mean, I like that also because it's like, man, they do such a good job with this character. It's only been 5 episodes or 6 episodes. And they do such a good job with this character to not just make her like the rootin' tootin' gunslinging person out here kicking butt, and taking names.
She's a mess. I mean, she's a mess still, but yes, she's
but she's like a person with a heart. Yes. And I think that sometimes it's like the hero is good because we're supposed to believe that they're good for some arbitrary reason. But we actually see Wynonna care about these people and see them as people, even though they are technically these like undead beings or whatever. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. She says to Dolls, I can't fill up on revenge. I need peace for me and for my sister. Yeah.
I thought that was powerful. And oh my gosh. So the beautiful moment with Fish that we were just talking about, and then smash cut right into her and Doc going at it. That was the weirdest transition.
Yes, but also Wynonna lashes out at Doc like, hey, you're terrible and like you're making bad decisions. And he's like, it takes one to know one because I'm looking at myself when I see you. And both of them are like, oh, we're extremely broken. Let's not deal with that. Let's just deal with this instead. So like, I don't know that I felt like it didn't make sense. I feel like, first of all, Wynonna has chemistry with everyone, so I'm like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Everyone's just gonna make out with her. But also, like, they're basically like, oh, we're broken people, and that draws us together. So, like, this was a horrible thing that just happened, and we're both feeling guilty. You know what would make us feel less guilty? What if we just had sex right here?
Yeah, I mean, the sexual tension was palpable between them from the start. And, I mean, like I said, this buffed them to a 5 out of 5 on the thirst tracker. I was here for it. Yeah. Say that after. Like, yes, I'm here for it.
I'll have you know I kept it at 1.5 the whole time, okay? I didn't stop it and slow it down. Jeez. Everyone's like, oh, we need to record. I'm like, all right, let me watch my episodes.
It's my bad. So episode 6, we jump over.
Wait, I have one more thing about episode 5.
Yeah, go for it.
So we also learn that the mayor has a photo of a previous Earp heir being hunted.
That's a good point. I forgot about that. The mayor is a comic book villain.
Oh, yeah, right? For sure, yeah.
He's obviously a bad guy. But I think it's interesting about that is like, it's obvious that he's a bad guy, but you don't know sort of like what his angle is.
Yeah.
I think that like that last little hook at the end makes him a more interesting character.
Yeah. I mean, he's got deals with Constance because, like, clearly he's like, she's respected in the community. You have to apologize to her. And he's got that photo. So you start to wonder, like, and something I think that actually leads into episode 6 is, like, again, you have to see how entrenched in purgatory these revenants are. Like, I'm pretty sure Wynonna and Waverly went to high school with that revenant.
Yeah, in episode 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is wild, you know?
Yeah, we get real playful with how that would work in this show.
Yeah, I was like, do they age? I don't know. It's not clear.
It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, who knows? Sure, why not? But, I mean, episode 6 kicks off with Wynonna and Doll's training. And like I said before, if I wasn't having second thoughts about Dolls, this would have been really hot. But I was just like...
How much of Doll's toxic masculinity, which I don't argue like is sort of there, like this, he does touch Wynonna a lot, but how much of that is his drug withdrawal and how much is him?
That's a good point. I mean, I think with Dolls, it's a slow drip. They're getting like little pieces of his story here and there. Mm-hmm. And I'm interested to see how it plays out. But that scene, I was conflicted in that scene because of how my current feelings for Dolls. Mm-hmm. And so he starts having withdrawals for whatever the reason.
Sure.
And we meet the blacksmith who, okay, honest, I gotta be honest with you. I remember now, this was the other ship that I wanted to add to the thirst factor.
Okay, we can add.
When the blacksmith showed up, I was like, you are way too hot to not be somebody's love. You are a freaking smoke show. There's no way you're not somebody's love interest. Which, I mean, like, I'm sorry, but she's extremely attractive. And so I'm like, I don't know. She is. I was just like, I was watching. It was so funny because I was watching it and my partner was walking by and the blacksmith came on screen and I was like, God damn. And she was like, what? And I was like, oh, nothing. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that.
Well, also the way we're introduced to her is she's in like a full protective gear outfit and you don't know what she looks like, and you don't even know she's a woman, frankly, and then she takes off her welding helmet, essentially, and
I was like, yes, please. Are you looking for an apprentice? Sign me up.
Oh my God.
The show, like, yes, like I said, the show, like Erin said, the show is really horny, and I'm here for it. So, Blacksmith and Dolls is what I wanted to add
and Dolls,
as one.
Okay. You want them to kiss, okay.
I mean, like, I feel like who doesn't want some chocolate mocha? Let's get the chocolate mocha.
Jeez, your dance.
I wish you all could see the video. Yeah, I'm getting into it. I love this thirst tracker. It's one of our best. We got to do this for every show now.
Great invention.
Blacksmith and Dolls, 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
All right.
1,000,000 out of 5. I'm so super duper here for that. And then Blacksmith and Waverly.
Okay, all right.
3 out of 5. Because I could be projecting. so.
You're like, I want her to kiss someone. I don't care who.
So yes, that was I remembered the thirst. So anyway, so they go to see the blacksmith, and she senses that something is off with Dolls, right? And I was like, that's weird. At first I was like, is this a Native American trope kind of thing? Is this and I mean, a little bit. But at the same time, I was like, okay, well, later they allude that she's like connected to the Earps in some kind of way.
I think it's supposed to show that there are different kinds of magic, right? Because you got you've got what clearly is Constance doing some sort of evil magic because she's clearly a villain. And then you've got the blacksmith doing what looks to be a different kind of magic. And I think the intention is you're not supposed to feel like it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, to put labels on it, I felt like that Constance was like a witch, which in the context of like witches being bad within like monster lore or whatever. And the blacksmith is like a shaman or like somebody who's like a healer or something like that is what it felt like to me, the vibes I was getting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then Dawes starts going off the rails because he's having withdrawals and he makes a deal with Doc for Doc to get him some information. And, oh man, and then Doc goes to find those 2 dead bodies at the construction site or whatever, which I don't even know what that's about.
Well,
so we're almost out of time, so I'll save that for later. But
whatever Bobo and Constance are working on together, Bobo's digging for something, and he's digging for these skeletons.
The person that Doc was like, the revenant that Doc was, is she a revenant? Is she a person? It's unclear.
She's just a human.
Just a human?
You can tell she's just a human because of what happens to her in this episode.
That's true. Yeah, she does get murked.
She gets eaten.
She gets fridged, yeah. She tells Doc that, like, Bobo and the Stone Witch are, like, trying to resurrect these people or something like that. I've been watching a lot of Netflix animated shows, and I was like, is this Dracula? Like, are they resurrecting Dracula? I wouldn't be mad at the show if it was Dracula. I doubt it, but it's probably the devil. I don't know. Who knows? It doesn't matter.
Question. This is the same episode where Waverly follows Uncle Curtis's clues.
That's correct. And has the head.
And what does she find?
She finds the skull.
Yeah. And what does the blacksmith say about the skull?
She says that Curtis was the keeper of the skull.
Keeper of the bones.
Keeper of the bones. Oh, the bones that Bobo has. Curtis is probably the keeper of the bones. And now the skull is the last piece of the bones. And Waverly has it. And that's why she's in danger.
Yeah, she does tell you. I don't know if you caught it. But during her spell that she was performing on Waverly, she was like binding them together. And as she was doing it, she was like, I can't do it because I can't remember the rhyme. But she's like, I bind this girl and the Stone Witch son. And then she goes, oh, shoot, I didn't know who this skull belonged to before.
Oh, that's right. Because she was like, how did I know that?
Yeah.
So the Stone Witch's son is one of the bodies, which like, okay, whatever.
I love watching this realization real time. Like, Carmen did not put together that there's one skull, and then there's a skeleton missing a skull. Could belong to anyone. Probably different skeletons.
Could be anybody, guys.
Could be different. It's probably it's just a coincidence. They belong to different bodies.
It's a third unrelated skeleton, yeah. When you say it like that, it sounds like kind of silly.
No, I mean, it's obvious to me because I'm watching again and I know the answers. But I just think it's funny that you were like, it was an unrelated event.
You know, like in cartoons when they like open their wallet and a moth flies out? That's how little I care about the Stone Witch plot. Yeah. It's so dumb. I don't care about it at all. And I surely hope it doesn't become the A plot or the main story because I'm just like, I don't care. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I guess that's her son or something or other. And then they find the cannibals. And so here's the thing about the cannibals.
Yeah, what's up?
It's the same problem that I have with the CW Flash show, which, by the way, love that show. Shout out to the people who make it. Shout out to everybody in the Arrowverse, RIP. But the thing about that show is like the Flash, especially after he's been the Flash for a while, it's like, how is anybody hurting you? You're so fast. You're so powerful. How's anybody hurting you? They set up the mother in that one scene where there's like a guy walking in the woods and then she just like rushes by in a flash and cuts his head off.
Yeah.
They set her up as like, she's supernaturally fast. So I'm like, how in the flip does she not just kill Dawes?
Yes.
When he's in the basement. But she's like afraid because she's like, oh, there's something wrong with you. And then my first thought was like,
she bites him.
Yeah, she bites him and she was like, something's wrong with you. You're like tainted meat or something like that. My first thought was like, oh, shoot, Dawes is a zombie. Which, that's not true. He's not a zombie.
How do you
know? Because, I mean, I don't know. He looks healthy. He looks fine.
Okay.
Do zombies have six packs?
I don't know. I've never seen a zombie with his shirt off.
That's true. I haven't either. But anyway, so, Wynonna catches up and she smokes the mom. And, she has a heart-to-heart with the daughter and learns that the daughter is somebody that she used to know, and that the daughter was also the one who was there when her dad died.
Yep.
Which, like Erin said, the timeline on, the age is what? But whatever.
So, basically, I think the part you have to remember is that they resurrect when an heir comes of age. Everyone that was killed previously resurrects when the next Earp comes of age. And so, again, the timelines get sort of wonky, but you sort of wonder, she was there when, what's his name, Ward died. She, helped hunt Ward, Wynonna's dad. And then, did she just not age and just hung around and then went to school when Wynonna was of age, when she, looked her own age? It gets kind of playful with our timelines here.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. I was curious of and I'm sure they'll probably answer it at some point, but one thing that's on my mind right now is if the Earp, the chosen Earp, I forget what you call it, the ward or whatever, if they don't die, the heir, thank you. If they don't die, they smoke all the revenants, they don't die, and they're an adult, and then the next heir comes of age.
It ends the curse.
So the Earp has to live.
If the Earp can kill all of the revenants with Peacemaker, it will end the curse.
But because none of them have been able to do it before they die,
correct,
the curse is not ended.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I didn't fully grasp that before.
Yeah.
I'm sure they explained it, but I was just what? Hot people making out?
Yeah. I don't know that we've really talked too hard on the logistics of it, but that is generally what they're trying to achieve. But mostly the revenants murder the heirs. So it's sort of
I mean, there are a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Wynonna smokes the cannibal mom, and then she has a moment with the daughter, and I thought it was really interesting because I was thinking to myself, it kind of seems like the daughter was trapped in a bad situation, and I wonder how and or why it killed her.
She said she got caught in the crossfire.
I thought of metaphorically. I didn't know she meant literally.
She was literally killed by Wyatt's gun because when they were human, they fell on hard times and they couldn't get food. So what they ended up doing at their inn was eating the people that they thought no one would miss, right? Visitors at their inn. Wyatt came to investigate the disappearance of people, and in trying to shoot the mother and the son, the daughter got caught in the crossfire as well. She was I never wanted to do it. I didn't want to be a part of it. And she died by Wyatt's hand.
Gotcha. And then Wynonna is I don't care because you killed my dad. Bada bang, bada boom, you're dead. Right?
Yeah, she was basically just make your peace. And she was wow.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't do the finger guns and say bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because you're starting to see revenants as, yes, they're demons and obviously they're eating people, which is bad. But I forget her name, and it's not Hallie, is it? I don't remember. Anyway, the cannibal daughter's name, whatever it was. She basically, as long as she was telling the truth, she was listen, when you came of age, my mother got hungry again. She was fine before then, but then once the curse is reactivated, she was ravenous again. And we were trying to keep she's I had to kill your dad because it would stop the curse for a temporary amount of time. She's it's fine when there's no heir.
And it's really interesting because I felt the same way about this character that I felt about Fish, where I was oh man, I kind of wish Wynonna would have. I guess she can't let her go. She has to kill her. So
yeah, but
she said make your peace. So
she was hey, give you a chance to make your peace with this. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it was it was definitely a tragic story. I think that this is one of the darker episodes. I was super here for it. I like those kind of stories. And then we end this episode with Dolls talking to somebody who he knew from a previous life, who gets him a sort of care package of the stuff.
Is it a previous life, or is it somebody who works at Black Badge still?
This seems like someone who's a current employee. I meant like he knew before the show started.
Fair enough.
And this person gives him a little care package to hold him over.
Some drugs.
And as he injects himself, we see his eyes start to change. For a moment, I was like, is he a revenant? But then I was like, no, because their eyes just turn red. Mm-hmm. And his kind of turned into like the reptilian canine, like kind of like slit eye kind of thing. And then I was like, oh, baby, is Dolls a werewolf? Let's get it. I sure hope that he's a werewolf because he was sick, but it was the daytime. And so I was like, oh man, he got even sicker at night. But he was out talking to the dude at night. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know the like cycles of the moon or whatever. So maybe it was like before the full moon or whatever. But I'm here for Dolls like being some kind of monster.
Got some secrets. Dolls got some secrets.
I hope that there's vampires and werewolves and ghosts and all that kind of stuff. I love monster lore, so the more cryptids they have, the better.
You know I do too, and I love this show, so who knows?
Well, anyway, thank y'all so much for listening.
Yeah.
We got to wrap it up here, but before we do,
what's up?
Let's do our favorite segment. Mm-hmm. Erin Fusco, do you still love the show?
Yeah, obviously. Obviously, I still love it. Obviously, Carmen, I'm making you watch it. I love it. It's great. But do you love it yet?
Dude, I freaking love this show. Y'all, I'm texting. Oh, yeah. Get it. Oh, I got Erin dancing now. I'm texting Erin every day when we're not recording. Like, I can't wait to see what happens next. I got some theories, but I'll save them for the podcast. Yeah, the show's great. We'll see which of the ships actually come to fruition.
That's why I can't tell you who I ship. Because I won't tell you which one's my faves.
Okay, I'll have to wait until we finish the show. And then be like, tell me all the juicy hot goss.
No, I just think everyone on the show is so hot. I just think everybody
is
cute.
So freaking hot, dude. Everybody. I mean, that's like the CW style show rule. It's like
we didn't anticipate. That was not our goal going into watching this show. I forgot how bad it was at the beginning of this show, but hey, you don't have to complain about it, you know?
Enjoy the ride. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this ride, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review. Let us know what you thought. And tell us what your thoughts are on social media. Thank you all so much for watching. We really enjoy going on this ride with you, and we hope to hear from you. And remember, it's dangerous to watch TV alone. Bye.
Bye.